What it is, though. It's your boy Crook LDB Team 100. We in here, sure. And today we got another reaction video. Now this video is from Rebound Rewind. This is the best NBA player at every All-Star selection total, man. And so this is kind of like an animation. But I just figured it was interesting. I thought I'd check it out. Without further ado, let's get to it, man. Thank you guys for watching.
Making an All-Star team is quite a worthy achievement. In terms of probability, an NBA player has only a 4 in 75 chance of making an All-Star squad in any given season. That's about a 5% chance.
Yo, stop playing with Draymond, bro.
We are going to rank the best NBA player at every All-Star selection total. Now, I do need to point out that I am counting every time an NBA player has been selected, not necessarily every time they played. Sometimes they do get selected but don't actually play due to injury. But it's still fair to say that they earned the title of being an All-Star in that.
I ain't gonna lie. Kevin Love, when he played for the Timberwolves, a walking 30-30, bro. Kevin Love was tough, bro. He was tough. Ever since he went with LeBron turned him into like a pure stretch. Man, listen, LeBron turned a lot of careers upside down. I'm just saying. Kevin Love at Minnesota, a walking 30-30. 30 points, 30 boards. Easy. Kevin Love was that dude back in the day.
That season. So without further ado,
a lot of y'all probably
let's
don't even
rebound
know.
onto that list. The best NBA player to never make an All-Star team is a really tough choice to make. There are so many great underrated players who can easily claim this spot. Some great choices are Cedric Maxwell, Richard Jefferson, Jason Terry, Ron Harper, Rudy Gay, and Mike Conley. For me, some of what this comes down to is how much success
they're like
had in terms of
they're like mid-level players
slash playoff berths.
Don't get me wrong, they was important to their team.
Or if they were playing second,
they was important to their
team.
I'm sorry, yeah. So they was important to their team, but they're like second mid-level players. Because if you think about Rudy Gay's a bucket, but he doesn't get any. Like Rudy Gay doesn't really get any recognition. People just see him just a scorer, and that's it. Mike Conley, people consider Mike Conley as a game manager. Mike Conley was detrimental to Memphis's he was detrimental to the Grizzlies' success, man. Like a lot of those playoff runs was because of Mike Conley. It was because of Mike Conley, Marc Gasol, and Zach Randolph. And those were some tough Memphis Grizzlies teams. They had Tony Allen too. Yeah, Memphis was definitely tough.
Maxwell probably has the better resume as he is a Finals MVP, but he did play alongside the likes of Larry Bird, Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, and Tiny Archibald. Now Mike himself was snubbed by playing alongside the likes of Marc Gasol and Zach Randolph, and technically also Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, but I do think he was a better defender. However, when it's all on the line, Maxwell was able to outperform and outscore Larry Bird in the finals against the Houston Rockets and be a legendary all-time great player like Moses Malone. For that, I'm giving this spot to the finals MVP, Cedric Maxwell. The best NBA player with just one All-Star selection is another really hard choice to make. Now, to be fair, I do not think it's fair to include players who only have one selection based on age. For example, guys like Trae Young, who are without a doubt talented, but barring some sort of catastrophe, these guys are going to be a part of many more All-Star teams in the near future. So likely picking one of them will not age well. Even with that in mind, this is still a really tough call to make. Many great choices include Calvin Murphy, Kyle Korver, DeAndre Jordan, Austin Carr, Andre Iguodala, and prime Andrew Bynum. To me, this is a really close call between Calvin Murphy and Andre Iguodala. Both are players who averaged roughly 20 points per game in their best seasons. Both are players who made it to the NBA Finals. The difference between the two is that Andre is a Finals MVP, a champ, and was an All-Star when he was easily the best player on his team. When Calvin was an All-Star,
yo,
that
Andre
team was
Iguodala, Philly,
Malone's
what?
Team. And if
You
we
talk
need a
about Vince
tiebreaker,
Carter?
Andre's
He was the
Finals
second coming of Vince
MVP is
Carter
an
when
easy
he was in
debate
Philly.
ender. The best NBA player with 2 All-Star selections has a lot of great choices as well. Some include Bradley Beal, Dennis Rodman, Manu Ginobili, Zach Randolph, and Stephon Marbury to name a few. For me, this is a real close call between Manu Ginobili and Dennis Rodman. Both players are champs many times over.
Yo, Manu Ginobili only had 2 All-Star selections? I did not know that. That's crazy. Yo, they won like 5 rings together. How he got only 2 All-Star selections? And let me see. Bradley Beal. I can see Bradley Beal. I could definitely see. Because there was a lot of years that they snubbed Bradley Beal in the All-Star game. I ain't going to lie to you. They was always snubbing Bradley Beal. I did not know Dennis Rodman only had 2 All-Star selections. Definitely didn't know Manu Ginobili only had 2 All-Star selections. Zach Randolph was a bucket though, but I get it, because the thing is, when you go to play with I wouldn't say play with superstars, but when there's like certain important pieces to your team, you're not always going to get the individual accolades. So if Steph, KD, Clay, and Draymond Green all playing on the same team, somebody not going to the All-Star team. Or it's a possibility that somebody's not going. Of course, all of them went. But it's a possibility somebody could get left off. You know what I'm saying? If Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili all, of course, they played on the same team, some people are going to get selected more than others, which Tim Duncan has the most out of both of them. But all 3 of them were the main reason why San Antonio won their 4 to 5 rings. You know what I'm saying?
For me, this is a real
same thing with Bradley Beal,
Ginobili
playing alongside
and
John Wall.
Both players are champs many times over. Both are NBA legends. Ginobili is the better scorer, but Dennis is by far the better defender. Dennis is a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year and 8-time All-Defensive Player. He's also a 7-time total rebound champ, averaging an insane 18.7 rebounds per game in his best rebounding season.
I ain't gonna lie. Dennis Rodman was a hawk,
3 All-Star selections is easily Derrick Rose. Some fair runner-ups are Joel Embiid, Marc Gasol, and Draymond Green, but this category without a doubt goes to Rose. Had Rose stayed healthy, he would have been selected to more All-Star teams for sure. Rose himself is the...
I ain't gonna lie to you. I had this conversation with one of my coworkers, and then they agreed with me. And I want you guys to comment in the comment section if you agree. If Derrick Rose did not get hurt, Steph Curry would not be as big as he is. Tell me if I'm wrong, YouTube. Tell me if I'm wrong. If Derrick Rose did not get hurt and he continued at the trajectory that he did, a lot of these players wouldn't have even mattered, bro. The league would have been so... What? Yo, the torch was passed to Derrick Rose, bro. Derrick Rose was one of the most explosive players. I would say probably as explosive as a Russell Westbrook. I don't want to say over Russell Westbrook, but probably as Russell Westbrook, bro. He was going to be bigger than life, man. Like, if he still would have came up, man, listen, we wouldn't have cared about Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying? We like a lot of these players that we care about today, if Derrick Rose was still like doing his thing, we would not care about some of these players. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna be honest. I would include Steph Curry in there. Definitely.
The youngest MVP in NBA history. The best NBA player with 4 All-Star selections is Giannis Antetokounmpo. This is a super close call between Giannis and Kawhi Leonard. And yes, Kawhi is a 2-time champ, 2-time Finals MVP, and 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. Giannis is a 2-time regular season MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. In terms of overall talent, I think Giannis is the more talented player. Both are legendary, but imagine if Giannis and Kawhi switched places. I could easily see Giannis being a champ if he was a part of the Spurs. The best NBA player with 5 All-Star selections is Bob McAdoo. A really close second is Wes Unseld. Both players are NBA champs, Rookie of the Year, regular season MVPs, and NBA legends. And I could see this going either way. Bob is by far the better scorer, averaging over 34 points per game in his best scoring season. Plus, he's a 2-time champ, and Wes is a 1-time champ. The best NBA player with 6 All-Star selections is Steph Curry. Some fair runner-ups are Joe Dumars, Tony Parker, Kyrie Irving, and Shawn Kemp. But this category easily goes to Curry, as he is a unanimous MVP and champion. The best NBA player with 7 All-Star selections is a really close call to make. Some really good choices include Willis Reed, Scottie Pippen, Kevin McHale, Anthony Davis, and Tracy McGrady, to name a few. This is a really tough call to make, but I'm going with Scottie Pippen. It's neck and neck between Pippen, Willis Reed, and Kevin McHale. Reed is an MVP, two-time champ, and two-time Finals MVP. McHale is a three-time champ, and Scottie is a six-time champ. Reed dominated in the 60s and 70s, and in his MVP season, he averaged 21 points per game. Of course, Scottie would have a much different career if he didn't play alongside MJ, but the 60s NBA and the 90s NBA are drastically different.
Yeah, but Scottie Pippen wouldn't be who he was.
Reed might have a better resume, but in terms of overall
those
talent
arguments
and
could go
two-way
both
skill,
ways.
I've got to give this edge to Scottie. Coming in with 8 All-Star selections, we have
Steve
Nash.
Nash.
Some really good run-ups include Dikembe Mutombo, James Harden, prime Dwight Howard, Yao Ming, and Rick Barry, to name a few. James Harden is an MVP, but Steve is a two-time MVP. Well, James is the better scorer. I think that Steve is the better floor general, coach on the court, and distributor. For 9 total All-Star selections, we have Dominique Wilkins.
Steve Nash is the only player that I know that can score less than 5 points or up to 5 points and get 20 assists. What point guard you know doesn't have to score the ball but can get 20 assists in a game? Enough said, bro. Nobody doing this.
Some great runners.
This man had 5 points. I think it was like 21 assists or something like that.
Westbrook is an MVP and Robert is a 4-time champ. And these two might have better resumes, but let me put it like this. If I can only choose one player to build a team around, I would choose Wilkins. I think he has the most on-court talent and skill. And again, you could definitely argue that Westbrook and Robert have better resumes. But a lot of that is the result of being put into a system with winning culture. Dominique was able to carry a franchise on his back for over a decade, and while he didn't ultimately win it all, I think his best seasons are not something you can just write off. He averaged over 30 points per game multiple times and roughly 27 points per game during the 12 seasons with Atlanta. The best NBA player with 10 All-Star selections is the Slim Reaper, Kevin Durant. David Robinson and John Stockton make really close seconds, but KD is both a regular season MVP and a Finals MVP. Robinson is only one of those things, and John is none of those things. But that does not discredit either of those two. They're all legends in their own right. The best NBA player with 11 All-Star selections is Dr. J. Julius Erving. Some really good runner-ups include Charles Barkley, Allen Iverson, and Bob Pettit. All of these players are MVPs, most are champions, and Bob probably has the best resume out of all the players here. But when you're dominating in the 50s and the league only has 8 teams to compete with, it is hard to compare that to a fully furbished NBA with 30 teams. Coming in with 12 All-Star selections, and man, this is a tough one. Let me list off the contenders first. We got Magic Johnson, Bill Russell, Moses Malone, Isaiah Thomas, Larry Bird, Oscar Robertson, and Hakeem Olajuwon. The Magic versus Bird debate in of itself is like a mega debate that needs its own video, and even then, choosing one wouldn't be so crystal clear. It would be impossible to give a convincing, bite-sized argument, but that's not going to stop me from trying, of course. I think what makes this debate so hard is that Magic had Bird's number. Magic beat Bird in the NCAA championship, and Magic outwon Bird in the finals when they faced off. But if you're comparing overall on-court talent in a general sense, you can argue that Bird's overall defense was far greater than Magic's, and while Magic might be more offensively gifted in terms of being a floor general, the gap in Bird's defense is far wider than the gap in running an offense that Magic has an edge on. So this is how I'll put it. If this was a specific Magic versus Bird debate, history will tell you that Magic versus Bird already happened and that Magic won. But this is an overall NBA talent ranking video, and for that reason, I'm going to go with Larry Bird. And yes, I know in the past I chose Magic, but when spending even more time on this topic, there's more to things than meets the eye. There are only 4 players with 13 All-Star selections.
Magic.
These players are Wilt Chamberlain, Bob Cousy, John Havlicek, and Dwayne Wade. All 4 of these players are legends, but this one easily goes to Wilt Chamberlain, who put up insane video game numbers. There are also only 4 players with 14 All-Star selections. These players are the logo Jerry West, Karl Malone, Michael Jordan, and Dirk. This would be hard to pick if MJ wasn't on this list, but when you're competing with the GOAT, there's not much to say. This goes to
enough
Michael
said.
Jordan.
Hell.
Only 3 players have
said.
made All-Star teams 15 times. These 3 are Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, and Shaquille O'Neal. I think
Shaq.
it's a really close call between Tim and Shaq,
Shaq.
and I kind of already explained why I have Tim ahead of Shaq in my Finals MVP ranking video.
What?
So you know where to go if you want to find that explanation. Only
Hell
one
no.
player in
Shaq,
NBA
bro.
history is a 16-time All-Star, and that is LeBron James. LeBron will also likely be the only NBA player with 17 All-Star selections, barring some catastrophe, and that will only last up until he reaches 18 and maybe even 19 or 20. Speaking of being an 18-time All-Star, though, only one player in NBA history so far is an 18-time All-Star, and that is the Black Mamba, Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace to
R.I.P.
Kobe.
Kobe.
Last but not least, only
R.I.P.,
one player
man.
in NBA
R.I.P.
history
to
is
Mamba,
a 19-time All-Star. The most All-Star selections ever goes to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So these are the best NBA player at every All-Star total. Let me know what you think of this list in the comments below. Don't forget to dunk on that like button, and I am still working on my really long video. I'm not sure when I'll finish it, but make sure you're subscribed with
I ain't
notifications
gonna
turned
lie.
on.
The only one I disagree with is Tim Duncan over Shaq. That's the only one I disagree with. Other than that, I can't really argue with like some of the older players because that wasn't my era, and I didn't really grow up. I didn't really start watching basketball until maybe, because the thing is, like, throughout the Bulls run at around 93, that's when I first started watching it, but I didn't really understand the game of basketball. I really started to understand the game of basketball around, I say, 2002, 2003. And I started to slowly understand it. And each year I started getting information. I started learning about different teams, different players. 2K also helped me with that. You feel me? I've owned like every single 2K. Every single 2K I always had. Always had. So 2K also helped me. But yeah, I didn't really start watching NBA until like 2003. And then like after I'll say probably like after 2008, 2009, that's when I really started to get into sports. Like I really started to become fascinated and intrigued by it. So, and you know, and that's why I like watching videos like these, just so I can kind of like, you know, get the knowledge of what I couldn't pick up when I was younger because I couldn't understand it. You know what I'm saying? So these videos kind of enlighten me on different things that different people did, or like previous achievements that the players before my era did. You know what I'm saying? So that's the video, man. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. Catch you guys on the next reaction video. I love y'all, man. Follow me on Twitch. Link will be in the description, man. And I'm out.